The return of a beloved character, revisiting Paige Larson on Days of Our Lives. For longtime fans of the soap opera Days of Our Lives, there's a character whose absence has left a lasting impression: Paige Larson. Her story, although brief, was intense and tragic, and many viewers have expressed a strong desire to see her return to the show. It's been nearly a decade since Paige last appeared on the show, yet her storyline continues to resonate deeply with fans. As we explore why a revival of Paige Larson would be a compelling development, let's take a closer look at her background, the dramatic twists she endured, and the potential narrative opportunities her return could bring. Paige Larson first appeared on Days of Our Lives between 2014 and 2015. Even in that short span, her character captured the hearts of viewers. She was introduced as the daughter of Eve Donovan and Eduardo Hernandez, linking her to the complex Donovan family tree, which itself is steeped in drama and turmoil. Adding to her legacy, Paige was also the granddaughter of Teresa Donovan, a figure who brought her own layers of conflict and passion to the show. Life for Paige Larson, however, was far from easy. From the start, tragedy seemed to follow her. Paige was portrayed as a talented young woman and, notably, a piano prodigy, which added a layer of depth to her character. Her relationship with J.J. Devereaux was a key storyline. The two started as high school sweethearts, a classic teenage romance filled with hope and promise. However, their love story became fraught with complications, largely fueled by the interference of Eve, Paige's own mother, who disapproved of their relationship. The tensions within this triangle were further stirred by a shocking revelation: a secret affair between J.J. and Eve. This twist dramatically upended the narrative, leading to heartbreak and mistrust between all involved. In a particularly gripping moment, Jennifer Horton discovered the affair, and as power dynamics shifted, she used her knowledge to manipulate Eve into helping patch up the fractured relationship between J.J. and Paige. The layers of betrayal and emotional manipulation elevated the drama, leaving fans captivated. Beyond her romantic struggles, Paige's storyline intersected with darker, more sinister events involving criminal elements in Salem. Eve Donovan, ever the complicated character, began dating a drug dealer connected to local crime lord Clyde Weston. This plotline brought danger directly into Paige's orbit. Paige, aware of the threats around her, decided to aid who at the time was working undercover as a DEA agent, providing him with critical information about Eve's new partner. This courageous decision, though noble, put her directly in harm's way. Tragically, the climax of Paige's story came in the form of one of the most chilling murderers in Salem's history, the necktie killer. This villain shocked viewers by targeting young women, his brutal murders leaving the town shrouded in fear. Paige became one of his victims, tragically strangled in her dorm room. This shocking death not only ended her character's arc prematurely but also sent shockwaves through the plot and the relationships tied to her. The aftermath of Paige's murder was equally dramatic. Her mother, Eve, driven by grief and vengeance, orchestrated a harrowing revenge against the necktie killer, demonstrating the lengths characters in Salem will go to protect family and seek justice. This act of kidnapping and torturing the killer illustrated a darker, more raw side of the soap storytelling. In recent years, the show revisited the legacy of the necktie killer's victims. Some, like Will, have even returned as ghostly presence as a creative approach that allowed the show to keep those characters alive in the narrative, albeit in a supernatural form. Paige herself has appeared briefly as a ghost, providing closure and haunting moments that remind fans of her enduring presence. Given the revival of J.J. Devereaux on the show and his apparent long-term return to Salem, it opens an intriguing possibility for Paige to also return, perhaps in a more tangible way beyond her ghostly appearances. Resurrecting Paige Larson could add rich new layers to the storyline, offering fresh emotional arcs and reconnecting fans with a beloved character whose story felt unfinished. Beyond the nostalgia factor, bringing Paige back could deepen the dramatic tension. Her return might explore themes of redemption, unresolved trauma, or new romances, while weaving seamlessly into existing plots. It could also serve to unite fans old and new, revitalizing interest in one of the soap's most beloved families. Bringing Paige Larson back wouldn't merely be about reviving a character, it would be about reigniting the passion of a loyal audience eager to see justice, love, and the twists of Salem's world unfold in new and surprising ways. With the track record of the show embracing complex returns and supernatural elements, Paige's comeback feels not only possible but also highly desired. In conclusion, for the many fans who have longed to see Paige Larson return to Days of Our Lives, the time feels right. Her brief but memorable story left a permanent mark on the show's history, and the dramatic potential of her revival is immense. Whether through resurrection, flashbacks, or a new life filled with unexpected turns, Paige Larson's return could electrify the show's landscape and remind audiences why they fell in love with Salem's stories in the first place. Part 2 Monday Recap Episode: Can Sarah Keep Rachel's Secret? The new week in Salem opens not with calm, but with a quiet kind of tension that seems to follow every member of the extended Horton and Kyriakis families. Monday's episode gives us a tender look at family devotion, a few surprising revelations, and several moments where characters say far less than what is clearly weighing on their minds. And at the heart of it all is a simple but powerful question: can Sarah keep Rachel's secret, and should she? A gentle homecoming after a scare. The episode begins with Holly and Maggie guiding Sarah through her own front door after the frightening allergy attack that sent her to the hospital earlier. It is a warm scene, almost motherly on Maggie's part, yet underneath the gentleness is the unmistakable concern of someone who has seen far too many medical emergencies in her lifetime. Sarah tries to downplay what happened. She smiles, she brushes it off, she insists she is fine. But Maggie knows her better than that. There is a tightness around Sarah's eyes, a stiffness in her shoulders, and a certain distraction in her voice that feels off. She's acting unusually reserved, doing everything she can to avoid real questions. And Maggie, with decades of intuition behind her, senses it. Still, Maggie decides not to push, at least, not yet. Meanwhile, Holly happily chatters as if nothing in the world is wrong. She is far more preoccupied with her phone and the absence of any new messages from Tate. It is the kind of teenage worry that seems insignificant to adults but feels enormous to her. She keeps glancing down, sighing, and finally announces that she will probably be spending Christmas in Paris with Eric and Nicole. Maggie gives a warm smile, proud but nostalgic. Time passes quickly in Salem, and children grow up even faster. Holly, however, doesn't notice the emotion behind the smile. She's too wrapped up in her own world and the excitement and escape of Paris. Unexpected news from Chicago. Then comes a moment of surprise. Maggie realizes that Bonnie and Justin aren't just out of town, they're in Chicago for a very special mission. Bonnie has actually flown there to pick up Justin's twins in order to surprise him. This revelation lands with more weight than one might expect. The twins have never been introduced on screen, not once in all these years, making the sudden mention of them feel like a doorway swinging open to entirely new possibilities. Maggie raises an eyebrow with genuine curiosity. Holly looks even more puzzled. Apparently, she hasn't met them either, despite her large extended family. It becomes one of those classic Salem moments where a single line of dialogue hints at a potential storyline brewing quietly in the background. A sharp turn in conversation. As soon as the discussion shifts away from Chicago, Maggie gently asks Holly about school. What begins as casual small talk quickly turns into something more interesting. Holly tells them who she's been living with, how her life has been shifting, how she's adjusting to her new routine. But what she doesn't mention is the very thing that would impress almost any adult in the room. She has been offered an internship by Stephanie. The omission seems intentional. Perhaps Holly doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. Perhaps she doesn't want the pressure. Or perhaps she is still unsure of what it will mean for her future. Whatever the reason, she speaks as if it simply slipped her mind, though both Maggie and Sarah know Holly well enough to recognize when she's choosing her words carefully. When Holly finally reveals the internship later in the conversation, both women are genuinely impressed. It is no small thing to be chosen by someone as respected as Stephanie. But admiration turns quickly to caution. Maggie's warning and Holly's world. Maggie, ever the voice of wisdom and experience, offers Holly a gentle warning. She reminds her that this line of work, public relations, professional communication, and particularly anything involving celebrity figures, comes with challenges Holly may not fully understand yet. Stephanie receives fan mail, sometimes enthusiastic, sometimes adoring, and sometimes concerning. Maggie tells Holly to be careful, not fearful, but aware. Fans can be unpredictable, and being around someone constantly in the public eye can draw attention, wanted or not. Sarah nods along, agreeing quietly. Holly seems surprised at first, then slightly amused, then thoughtful. It is the first moment in the entire conversation where Holly truly pauses to take something seriously. And Maggie is right. Salem has seen more than its fair share of people whose admiration crosses a line, and it is better for Holly to walk into this new role with her eyes wide open. The secret Sarah is holding. Though the episode never stops to spell it out, the tension running through Sarah's behavior makes it clear that something else is going on beneath the surface. Rachel entrusted her with something private, something possibly painful, something that